Overwatch All-Star Brawl number 4, presented by Star Esports, a double elimination tournament dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community. Today, we have What's Your Peak going up against Feeders with Benefits, not friends. No friends to What's Your Peak, that's for sure. And today, I'm 3.007. I'm also 3.007 tomorrow, but I'm joined once again by the splendiferous, the perfect Sir Waltham.
You're having me up a little too much here, Threep. I appreciate it, but it's fair that everybody knows my true talent. I'm more like the moderately warm Sir Waltham. That feels a lot more fair to me.
The hype can't do you justice. The hype just isn't good enough.
And don't get me wrong. There's a lot of hype for this match. What's Your Peak versus Feeders with Benefits? I'm looking forward to it. We are in the losers bracket. You gotta think that these teams are gonna be fighting for it now, Threep.
So there's some pretty serious action coming in here. So we've had both of these teams are coming off some pretty intense matches. Now, Feeders with Benefits having most recently come off of their winners bracket match with Citizens, which has been completely rebranded and honestly wasn't looking really all that strong to begin with, and then they just exploded out of nowhere. Feeders with Benefits put up a hell of a fight, but here they are, they couldn't push it through. Now I think they definitely have, at the very least, the pressure on the line. What's Your Peak, though, going up against Forefront? That was that almost went to like a super tiebreaker. They did go to the fifth map, which is insane, but like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I've been enthusiastic about the amount of games that haven't just been 3-0s, even in our first round so far. I mean, you know, normally when it comes to the first round, we're seeing 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Lately, we've been seeing many more 4, 5, and even 6, 7 round games. I think we saw 1-7 maybe.
That's pretty accurate. It's been a bonkers, like, it's literally only been a week. The tournament is very young, and we are kicking it off, I think, in the exact greatest way possible. So, with that being said, we're getting started, as always, as is, I think, now pretty much Star Esports Live tradition on Lijiang Tower. As Walthreep has discussed multiple times, this is one of our most favorite maps because teams can use kind of some kooky compositions depending on the map that gets played, and also forces teams to bust out stuff they may not necessarily be entirely comfy with, but I think expect to have to run. For example, we've got the control center dichotomized with the glorious Pharah maps, as I'm now going to call them, because let's face it, Garden and Night Market are Pharah bait.
There's some strong potential for Pharah. If anybody who watches any of the Wall3 casts knows anything, they're gonna know that I love to talk about Pharah on Gardens. You know, Night Market probably not as strong a pick. Usually we see something a little more conventional there with, I guess in modern day it'd be the Orisa Sigma, which I anticipate seeing. But we're gonna get to that command center most likely, and I mean, you know, maybe we see the Orisa switch up to a Reinhardt. I think teams are becoming a little bit more comfortable in that kind of method in getting those swing-heavy engagements going. A lot of different options here, a lot of different variety that we're going to be seeing hopefully come through on Lijiang Tower.
So that's a good point. The Reinhardt, I think, has not been necessarily as super prevalent as I would have expected after the most recent patch, and given the environmental precariousness of the Pharah bait maps on Lijiang Tower, you'd figure that there actually might be a little more, but I think it's just a shame. The Orisa, or Ori Sigma, Sigori. That sounds very Slavic. Davai. The Sigori combo, the tank combo, that's just, I think, too unbeatable right now, except for Control Center on Lijiang Tower. And I think I might enjoy how teams possibly will start to play compositions almost more influenced by the map rather than we can guarantee to run this and win. May Reinhardt, I feel like, is still a really good composition to play with on Control Center, and maps like it.
I certainly have to agree. Having that May who could just bring up that wall, section off, you know, one overexposed target, and then immediately have that target punished. There's just so much value you're going to get from that. If you can take one member out of the fight, a 5v6, regardless of, you know, a lot of other factors, is going to win you a lot of games. And it's one that if you're already 5v6 up, you don't necessarily have to worry about throwing a lot of ults into. It helps your economy stay a little bit more intact as well. So I think that it'd be fruitful for these teams to run a May, but maybe not required depending on the submap.
That's true. I think that's pretty true. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And honestly, with that being said, and I feel like that is really honestly the last speculative word we can get on the topic, we are going to be getting started on Lijiang Tower in just a hot moment here. We're waiting for the last R's to pop up in the glorious chat from everyone. We are jumping in now to Lijiang Tower. And as I watch my glorious latency spike, we are going, yes, okay, so here we are, Night Market. I love it. Give me some of that hot, sweet dive. And so, feeders with benefits. If I remember correctly, they were willing to play the Pharah game. I hereby confess, mea culpa, to not being entirely with it on what's your peak. If feeders with benefits does in fact go the Pharah route, if peak does not switch immediately, do they just instantly give up this map?
It's tough, right? Because if you don't go Pharah, you start considering what do you go instead, right? Mei, as we mentioned before, a very strong option here, considering that the chokes for this map to get onto point are so separated. If you cut off one access of entry, that the opposing team is gonna have to take a long time to rotate. Hanzo, we've been seeing a lot of that, and it looks like that's exactly what we're gonna be seeing coming out from these teams: the Hanzo and Mei on both sides, Koodle and Bun versus Tydra and Tuna.
So this is actually almost a perfect mirror comp, except for something that we've been seeing a lot lately, and it, to me, has just genuinely be shocking. Adam is on the Zenyatta. Ooh. Now, yes, Hayam is sticking with that Lucio movement, the speed boost, just way too good to pass up. Adam on the Zenyatta, though. The Discord Orb has not always worked out for a lot of teams, but when that team does it, they make it happen. And whoa! It's No Good Jr. takes a huge hit right out the gate. Basilisk goes down immediately. That's an intense amount of damage coming out from feeders, and it looks like they are, with the man advantage, going to be having a pretty good time setting up on this point here.
Yeah, and this is all off the back of some excellent Sig Rocks. The Sig Rock knocking one off the map.
Yep,
that was some fantastic play. But yeah, we're seeing actually a mirror comps come out onto the field. So both deeming that Zenyatta going to be great for bursting down any targets that are exposed. And right now, I honestly think, as we've seen, at least you and I have seen personally throughout this tournament, it's going to come down to which Orisa can use their halts more effectively with their Sigma, with their Hanzo, and with their Mei. In those cases, if they can get a pick off of that one halt or a Sigma accretion, then they have that 5 versus 6 man advantage we're talking about with Mei.
So CC continues to win the day, and what we failed to also mention is Vanilla Love, immediately after boosting the team out, also switched to a Zenyatta. Clearly, Discord Orb is the order of the day. Great pull by It's No Good Jr. to get some revenge on Perfectity, and with a 4v6 man advantage held by Peak, it looks like they are going to be inserting themselves onto the point. It's stall time for feeders with benefits, and they're probably going to cross that 50% range before they go down. And as the kills keep going, the zone of death goes down. This is crazy. There it is, though. Wait.
Yeah, this is great for the side of FWB. They lose a couple members. They're still able to stabilize. Tuna drops a little bit into the late fight, but that's all right. They still have 3 ults up. Adam didn't have the opportunity to use that Transcendence with the Zenyatta. That means that they're going to be rolling into this next fight with it, meaning that they have something for Tydra's Dragons. They'll have something for Vampiro's Grab Flux. It seems like we've been seeing a lot of Grab Fluxes countered with that Transcendence lately. We're going to have to really see how they utilize these ultimates coming online for both sides.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not setting a good pace for Peak to lose a 4v6 man advantage. And there goes the Sigma ult. It's coming out. The big time's happening. The Transcendence is there, though. All that damage gets healed up so instantaneously, you barely even see it, but the dragons come in. It gets some, it does some damage, and the kills start coming in. Tydra, the kill feed is dominated almost entirely by Red. We're getting into the late 90s here. It's No Goods Jr. Oh, no, look at that. The dragon's eaten by Vampiro. Why is Diva even still a hero? And the overtime's coming down. It's stall heroes now out from Peak.
Yeah, as we might expect, the stall heroes coming out. No Good Jr. just going to be hopping onto that Wrecking Ball. Get there as fast as possible. Not going to be enough to buy the pig at market, though. Objective going to be secured 100-0 by feeders with benefits. They're looking to shape up this time around.
Yeah, that was one of the most definitive rounds of Lijiang Tower that we've had the pleasure of witnessing. I am excited that now, okay, here we go. Now we're going to Control Tower. So this is good. So of all the matchups that could swing it back towards Peak, maybe indicating that, hey, they didn't get as much warm-up time as feeders or whatever, this is going to be the map that either demonstrates that Peak is here to play Overwatch competitively and really make this a 6-game match, as we apparently have already had this week, or is Feeder's just going to raffle stomp?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to be keeping an eye out. Also, keep an eye out for MVP, folks. Don't want to forget to drop that recommendation. Tydra already getting some early kills, making a good name for that MVP vote themselves.
So Koodle on the side of Peak has decided to go with the Reaper, the other offensive DPS hero being on the Mei, but it looks like the Reaper Junkrat combo is going to get, once again from Feeders, the most instantaneous gratification, as is the American way. So with that early kill, it was started out as a quick 5v6. The Immortality Matrix from the Immortality Field has gone down. Gagbag falling, the first Reinhardt to go down, but not after generating significant quantity of percentage, but the kill feed, as it matters, is going almost entirely the way of Feeders.
Yeah, Tydra really helping to get that first opening kill, meaning that there was going to be that 5v6 man advantage here, and at that point, I mean, What's Your Peak had an opportunity, they just were not able to capitalize on it. It's a tough spot to be in, and they continued to carry it on. Luckily for them, the side of FWB didn't get the point that early, so they weren't just continually building up point percentage throughout that entire time, but they're kind of by process having to give up a lot of ult charge. Tydra having the tire. Yes, I am going to be having that BAP field, which we're already seeing come online.
The murder field does its job for Basilisk, or actually that doesn't even go through it. Gagbag just picks it up with the help of a halt from a friend. Tydra goes down, no tire for this fight, so that's going to be a big resource gone, but Tuna eliminates Koodle, who has switched over to the Hanzo for a little more excellent burst damage. The tire comes in from way out of the fight. Barrier's also down for the team. If the tire can make it happen, it's going to be huge. It goes into the side. It doesn't get any major kill. The Immortality Field does go down. The die goes out from Tuna, eventually picking up Basilisk, and it's no good junior. And so Feeders will maintain control of the point, despite some significant capture percentage gained. It's just not going to be enough until Peak pushes them off, which looks like they will pull off.
Yeah, and they ended up winning the fight, but I swear to the good Lord, if I had a nickel for every time I've seen a Lucio boop a Reaper to get a kill with Death Blossom, I'd be at least 5 cents richer in this last fight. Tuna getting a kill off the back of a boop from Adam, knocking their teammates just into the range of that deathly spinning Beyblade. And with that, we're seeing another hard engage, another bad window. Oh, so many Fire Strike kills.
Look at it go! Fire Strike Central, and honestly, the one that comes off the top of it's gonna be Gagbag, who survives with maybe like a dime of health left. Holy moly, make sure to cap that one for the records.
Oh my goodness, there is truly not much to say about that. We're gonna be moving forward. What's Your Peak? Still in the resource advantage here. They have 3 ultimates online. And on the other side, FWB not looking as friendly with just the Earth Shatter on.
And there it is. The hammer down goes in just to cement that this is a fight that Feeders absolutely wants to win. They have no other ults to throw into the mix. Tydra still sticking on that Junkrat. I'm actually super impressed that they're gaining as much traction as they are. Basilisk gets a little bit of that late kill on Tuna, but this is looking pretty good for Peak coming in here.
Yeah, Tuna going to be able to get to point rather quickly with the Reaper mobility options that he has. And now we're going to have to be seeing FWB play a little bit conservatively here, be very cautious around the different combo ults that might be had here. The Fire Strike coming out once again from the battlefield, not going to find much.
Hell of a crazy awesome slam, but like talk about lack of follow-up, except at the very end when now we get some CCO resistance coming out from It's No Good Junior, and it immediately is taken out, but that's not stopping Adam from picking up a sick kill. Tydra flipping back over to the Doomfist now, trying to get back on the map. Feeders has kept the point. They're not committing any ults to this fight, and they're definitely going to be knocked out of it entirely. Peak going to take it, and they have some ults to keep it as well.
I'm going to describe this game as one of the wackier I've seen in this tournament so far. It's a little bit crazy right now. We're seeing some really crooked shatters. We're seeing Reapers get knocked around. We're seeing 5-man Fire Strike kills. Koodle taking down Tuna to initiate. That's going to be a little time burned off the clock from friends or Feeders with benefits. Now you got me doing it, and it's not going to be looking good for them here if they don't shape up a little bit.
So this is pretty interesting. They're doing a lot of flips. Tydra is now back onto the Junkrat, and it looks like they are going to be finally getting back in here. The big dragon's coming in that zones them right out of that gate, and they're not going to be able to get back in. Feeders. They're coming up in the bad times. A Shatter goes in, grabs 3. The Fire Strike is there. The hit's coming in. The Tuna goes. No, Tuna gets eliminated the minute they start, but yes, Hayam, they don't get back on the point.
There was nobody there. They were looking like they were going to win that fight off the back of the Earth Shatter and then the return Earth Shatter. And there was so much back and forth, but it looks like What's Your Peak just able to get it locked down in time. Good Lord, 3-4 done. Hopefully Gardens provide some sense of normalcy here. But as I look and see a Hammond, I'm kind of doubtful now.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, that fight belonged to Feeders, but thanks to incredible positioning and some seriously good zoning coming out from Peak, Feeders just wasn't able to get to the point in time. So, you know, cool that you won the battle. You lost the war in that sense, except now here we're going big time. Okay, Gagbag gets no good junior. They're coming out with pulled pork, and I am loving it. Perfectity. They have departed spawn with the Hammond. Is it a scout? Is it a pick? More at 11. Seriously, though, actually stay tuned.
Perfectity is gonna be in a rough spot to play this Hammond against a Hog Orisa. He's gonna be locked down in so many different ways. However, Tydra on this Pharah gives me some hope. We're already seeing quite a lot of ult charge built up here.
All right, this is crazy awesome. This is amazing. Here they go. It's in, and it's, yes, look at that control! Exactly as Sir Waltham said, Perfectity is literally incapable of getting anywhere. Basilisk literally already pops up the field of death, the square of doom. I don't know what is actually happening right here, but Tydra pops the barrage into a definitively lost fight, gets aced. Tuna on the Tracer, sorry, I forgot to geek out about that. It's probably because Peak took the point and then refused to give it up.
Yeah, Tydra at the very end of that fight using that rocket barrage was just a slight bit of unfortunate, especially since it looks like they're going to be committing to this character into the next few pushes, or they're debating it. No, going to be switching into the Mei, actually. So no aerial dominance in that fashion, but right now it looks like they are going to be having that nano boost. Curious as to who they might use it on. My guess might be Perfectity or maybe Tuna if they're able to get a sneaky nano.
And look at this, Reinhardt back in the game on a map other than Control Center. Hold my beer or my German ale, it's back. Reinhardt, Orisa, super barrier times. The stuns are in, the fields are down, it's time to go brawling on the point. And this is just an all-out war, but there's a lot of ults to throw on from both sides. Perfectity gets the charge on the Gagbag. Koodle, of course, finding that ever-accurate kills. Man, this guy's going crazy. Watch this McCree go. This town ain't big enough for anyone. I am shocked Koodle got caught in that slam, but, you know, so be it. But, there it is. Peak has come alive. Feeders is not looking as good as they were in the first round.
I certainly agree with the second half of that sentence, 3-point. Feeders right now having a really tough time utilizing any of their ultimates. Yesayam dropped the nano onto the Reaper played by Tuna. Tuna didn't get anything for it. They dropped the Earth Shatter by Perfectity, didn't get anything for it. We saw that Rocket Barrage come out earlier as well. Still nothing. That's 3 for 3 that I'm counting have received a large amount of zip, nilch, nothing. And right now, we're see if they can shape it up.
The most brutal lack of taking advantage of a halt ever, as Koodle lets go at least 1 kill, if not 2, from one of the most glorious combos I've ever seen. The Blizzard is down. Peak is in it to win it now. If they can hold here, they're done, and it's Vampiro's not really helping the close. The die gets canceled due to Koodle. Koodle's going crazy. It's like the resurgence of Big Boss all over again, except this time, their name is Koodle, and they've just won Lijiang Tower. Overtime's down, we're going on.
Yeah, I mean, What's Your Peak gonna be taking Lijiang, an amazing return to form after that iffy looking first map, admittedly. I think that Command Center was looking a little bit more back and forth, but Night Market and Gardens were just shades different from both of these teams. Both looking like just knew exactly how they wanted to play that. I'm hoping we're going to be seeing another one of these epics coming in. Massive play of the game is going to be Gagbag and Perfecity, both getting some big kills with those fire strikes. Amazing, amazing work from both of these teams. Although it looks like Feeders with Benefits might be dying off just a little bit. They might need to straighten out here, 3.
So I got super excited by the Reinhardt swap from Perfectity. there was that 1600 big old shield that came through, and there's some Orisa goodness. They went back onto the Hammond at the very end there. I feel like you might be having a somewhat of an identity crisis at that point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going? Like, what are you doing? What's your end game here? That hog coming out from peak started out being really good and freaking made it happen. Like, insanely. Never had to switch off. Like, they were dunking on Tuna so much they switched off the Tracer. We've seen the Tracer do good work for feeders.
Yeah,
but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, and it's weird because we saw it a little bit on Gardens, but the Tracer was actually getting kills on McCree. We've seen that a couple times here where Tracers just seem to have these beads on the McCree. They're able to outplay that flashbang. They're able to outplay perhaps the accuracy of the player themselves. And even that, despite taking down Koodle, who, as we saw, kind of continue out this match, was kind of putting on a little bit of a backpack there for Peak, at least in terms of the kill feed. Yeah. They still weren't able to pull it out, and you have to wonder, is that just what feeders were most comfortable running, or is that kind of something they just didn't want to show their hand too much on?
Well, if they were trying not to show their hands, they have two more maps to shape up, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is it. This is go time. So, now that being said, speaking of which, by the way, don't forget to follow the stream, because also if you want to partake in the glorious chat, followers only. Now, followers, that's just a click. That's easy. You subscribe, we're going to call you out, and it's going to be awesome. Also, as Sir Waltham mentioned, the MVP. We're going to interview someone after this game.
Yes.
And you get to pick, functionally. So, vote for your MVP. Honestly, there was a bit of a Reinhardt shindig going on there, so after one map, I know who I'm in on. It's the Baptistes. Just kidding. Everyone's doing a fantastic job, honestly, but again, gotta shout out What's Your Peak, because here they go. So, What's Your Peak? They've banned the map. They have banned Oasis, and honestly, fair. Shocked that they didn't ban an assault map. Honestly shocked.
I'm a little bit, not shocked, but I think they may have been able to play that a little bit better. We know Oasis isn't going to be a map up for choice next time, because we're not going to play two control maps side by side. Oasis, of course, also a control map. I'm going to say I'm more surprised that Watchpoint is still in the map pool right now. I'm hopeful. This is a Horizon Lunar Colony situation for me, 3-4. I'm hopeful we're going to see it, but I'm slightly doubtful. I'm morbidly doubtful, if I'm to elaborate on my own emotions there. Either way, I think Kings Row, Eichenwald, still some pretty good options. I don't know if I've seen these teams play against each other enough to know exactly how it's going to go. It feels like one team's just kind of cold, the other one's warming up, past the warm-up rate of the other team. So it's hard to say, these play styles are advantageous towards these maps.
Sure. I guess the next thought, though, is Feeders definitively lost. They lost the Reinhardt duels. They lost the... How do I say this? They lost just general positioning on Garden, didn't they? It's not that Feeders tried to do anything super crazy. It's Pulled Pork was just way too strong. And even with Perfectity coming in there with that moving... Excuse me. Oh my god. So 3-Foot's clearly telling a lie. But, the halt brings Reinhardt with you, and they still weren't able to make it happen. Now, Koodle absolutely popped off, and the burst of damage capability of a hitscan player who is on it is not deniable. And with a Hanzo nerf incoming on the PTR, it's going to be even more prevalent. So with that being said, maybe Feeders goes with a map that it doesn't necessarily favor the Reinhardt. It's just looking at the pool, I'm not necessarily seeing anything that has been eliminated. Oasis isn't exactly what I would refer to as a map. Oh man, so there it is. Feeders going with Kings Row. So we have feelings about Kings Row. I'm gonna predict. So hang on. So yes. Feeders picks Kings Row. What's your peak? They now get to choose side. They're going to start on defense. I just have this feeling. Feeders is going to open with Sigori. I can almost guarantee it.
Yes, probably. That seems the most likely because of the combos we've been able to see get set up. You were right on the call for what's your peak. They are going to go defense. But I don't know. It's interesting. I kind of would, after what we've seen here, despite how niche it is, you might argue that you can see Pharah here. But if feeders didn't get any benefit from Pharah on Gardens, I doubt that that's even a thought in their mind right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I assume the question is the defense. How's the defense going to be looking on first point? Because Threep, as we've mentioned, it never feels like Sig Ori is the most tolerable defense on first point Kings Row.
You see it played extremely well, rarely. And I literally ate my own words last time I had the dishonor of viewing it. But I think actually Feeders was literally involved in one of those situations.
I believe so.
Yeah, so... All right, hang on. We got 5 more seconds, so I really just want to... All right, so, okay. It's Gag Bag, and it's No Good Junior. And yeah, so there's the Sigori. They are ripping themselves out of spawn as literally quickly as possible. So here's the interesting bit. And this is with Kings Row, which is kind of funny because Kings Row defenses need to be mobile depending on where the offense attacks. Mm-hmm. There is no Lucio involved in this situation. They have one area of effect healer, and then Adam is back on the Zenyatta. Now, we can't say what the Ding Dong Diddly Feeders is going to do, except that Perfectity is in fact a Reinhardt, and he's actually sitting in a place that would be very difficult for him to respawn from, unless he leaps off this high ground. Yep, there. Okay, so hang on, and... All right, so it's Sigori all around, but both sides are going to be sticking with that Zenyatta. It's mirror comp, actually.
Yeah, so the mirror comp coming in, not a lot too much to hypothesize here. I, again, anticipate it's going to come down to which Ori can communicate with their Sigma and get the best combos going and into effect here. But we're already seeing a rotation through Hotel. That's going to be advantageous if they can avoid those sightlines from Hanzo for Feeders.
Yeah, here's the thing that I don't get. It's Gagbag up on the high ground as the Sigma, who has the shortest range of either tank on the field. Orisa has no damage fall off. Her damage technically counts as projectile. And wow, so much healing done by Yeshayam that he even has the kill field down already. Tidra gets looking pretty low, but it's Basilik's field that actually is going to be the one that gets taken out because of the advantage in positioning the offense has. They are going to be moving on to the point, and that is going to force Peak to go in. That was a crazy trebuchet hit. Tidra goes down, and I'm liking what's happening, but neither team is still really doing anything to unseat the other, except now we have, there's the big field. No, Vampiro, he trebuchets Basilisk. That's going to take much longer to replace. It's looking very good for Feeders, despite the loss of Perfectity. I'm sorry, no, Bun has decided 3-4 is wrong.
Yeah, Bun on that May, absolutely able to just fight out long enough to gain this. And it's getting so brawly right now. There are just so few people on both sides. Eventually, because of respawns, I anticipate we'll see Feeders take it. The Immort field is going to be coming from a long toss onto point. And with that, it looks like Peak is going to decide, you know what? Maybe we don't need to fight this directly on point. We don't need to give him that ult charge, and we'll just prepare for Streets phase. Either way, we're going to be seeing both Mays have this Blizzard moving forward. Yes, I am going to be having that VAP window. Did not have to use it this fight, so that's very advantageous for this continued push through this occasionally very difficult choke for the offense.
So if we think about that particular fight, that literally came down to a duel between Koodle and Tidra. And no offense to Tidra, but Koodle is apparently one of the greatest DPS players I've ever seen. And so the fight was not, or so rather, actually, I want to say Tidra ended up actually winning. So shocking. But like, it's so random. So now this fight's going on in the corridor, and they're gonna get held. This is such a fantastic place to hold. And again, you've got Koodle, who is literally murdering everyone that they can get their hands on. Except now the ults are pretty much evening up for both sides, other than Adam having already popped the Transcendence, and Gagbag now holds a Sigma ult. I don't know, it's like King's Row, it seems like point A, you're not even planning on defending anymore. You're just trying to chew up as much time as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a large part of it. A big halt coming in from those dragons. Koodle getting 3 of them.
Wow.
That May wall going to be blocking a lot of that Immortality Field's effectiveness. Some great synergy there, not even just between ults, but between cooldowns. We saw the Halt, we saw the Maywall, and of course the Dragons coming through, setting up some really big plays. And I mean, they only had to invest really just the Dragons. Everything else
just
was
the
going to be
Dragons
cooldowns.
Sorry, they also spent the Halt cooldown. Like again, looking at them pile into that choke point, seeing the Dragons come out and then the Halt follow after. It's hard to get hyped up about that anymore because it's just so blanking obvious. I'm sorry, it literally just happened again. So here comes another 2K off a Dragon. Does the 3K come in? Not off the Dragon, but it's definitely happening for the rest of the team. And so yeah, like of course Feeders is gonna push through here. It cost them exactly as many ults. No, Vampiro did actually spend that Sigma ult. So, well played to both sides because it's 250 left and Peak is looking great from the ult perspective. They're going to come back with a full 6, but Feeders also looking fantastic. Here comes the payload. It's down to that one fight territory and Peak needs to literally commit to a perfect defense or they're out.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, though. They do have that Orisa Halls to contest with, and the Transcendent's going to be coming out from Vanilla Love just to keep everybody up through that Sigma Grav Flux.
Oh, I love the IF placement. It's so perfect. It gets everything. And yes, Hayam is the one to actually end up going down. Yes, and yes, Hayam's field follows shortly after. Koodle grabs Tydra in a little bit of vengeance from that Hanzo duel. And this is just freaking amazing. Like, look at these blizzards go in here. This is full commitment from both teams to making this fight happen. Perfectity sitting there. Unfortunate reload time. Bug takes them out very handily. The defense is solid, but it's 2 minutes left. And, of course, the Baptistes have already refreshed their death squares.
Yeah, I mean, both those Mei ults, I'm not sure they were too necessary. We saw Tuna utilize the Blizzard to try to, secure up the defense, but they had already lost 3 or 4 members. Koodle was way outside the range of the Blizzard, so they didn't have to worry about being frozen. And so you're able to still put down a lot of damage and not be too worried about getting frozen or burned down. Either way, we're going to be seeing another ult investment into this fight.
Dragons is, IF is such a perfect counter to Dragons in that situation. I'm actually kind of surprised Koodle drops it out to begin with. It might have been bait, and honestly, if it was bait, hindsight is 20/20, and it works out really well. So the fight is definitively not happening without the DPS support of Tydra. The cooler down is coaxed out from Tuna, the Hulk goes in, more damage comes out. Gagbag actually pulls out the Sigma, and now this is getting kind of interesting. Vampiro does go down, even Adam dropping the trance. It looks like Peak is committing to a defense here on point B, and so far, it looks like they're doing a fantastic job of it.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting these kills, again, just in such quick succession right now. And, the stagger on the Perfection is going to be a little bit brutal, that Maywall getting them to preventing them, rather, from moving through that choke. So right now, they're going to be looking to be in a slight favorable spot. We're going to be seeing Hayam have that window up compared to Basilisk. Koodle as well trailing at a similar percentage to Tydra with those Dragons online. But they will have on the side of the defense that Supercharger, which can be a burden to push into if you're on the offense.
Yeah, the ults, it's actually funny how the ults are functionally identical right now. Koodle's gonna get ult in the middle of this fight, as is Basilisk. It's No Good Junior, however, preempts with their damage, and yes, Hayam counters with damage of their own. So this is fantastic. No kills coming up. Dragons comes in through the walls, though, but the IF is there, and it doesn't matter. It's No Good Junior, does go down. Tuna follows. Bun follows immediately after countering Dragons. It's left and right in the kill feed, but based on the order of the kills, it's looking like this is favoring the defense, and yes, Koodle's still alive, Tydra having been eliminated. They get to run roughshod, shooting logs downrange. Basilisk's IF does go down, and it's followed by Hayam's, and that's going to be the end and short of it. It's No Good Junior even swaps onto the Hammond just to drive the point home that Peak is not giving up point B.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes to show you how powerful that corner is when you're able to have, so many deployables that just rely on line of sight. And then you have the Orisa Supercharger, you have the BAP Immortality Field. You can even use it to kind of block a lot of damage that might come in through a window or, come out from a window. You can mitigate a lot of damage that's done to your shields and allow your teams to poke with corners. It's so dominant in that position. It's kind of hard to anticipate, seeing any other point on King's Row up until that. And I think we saw the side of What's Your Peak really utilize that to some great advantage, just continuing to hold those angles, hold those corners like they needed to.
Yeah, and that was honestly supremely impressive. The only time honestly, I think that the defense even slightly started to crumble was at the very end there when you saw again, just like the popping off of the left and the rights, but the order matters. And the, I'm actually kind of surprised that the defense didn't crumble. It's just Feeders just seems to not be able to push through in these particular situations. I it's I don't even know how to describe it. I guess we're going to see what happens. Maybe it's an offense-defense situation. Maybe these teams on King Row, they have their particular styles. We're definitely going to see whether Peak can match Feeders at this point. Because let's face it, we've been talking some mad smack about how that went. But fact of the matter is, Peak's got to match it or they ain't winning this map.
Yeah, and Feeders, of course, you can have an average offense if your defense is superb. That's really going to be where it comes in. And Tidra looking to already make a mark, taking down the Omnic Monk, one shot to the dome.
Did someone say superb defense? Because I think Tidra did, and he domed the Chrome Dome so perfectly. Of all the ults that you want to make sure that you're generating percentage on, it's Zenyatta's, because boy does it take forever in barrier meta. So now they're back at it. The Mei walls are up. It's time to go in on the point, instead of going through Hotel, as Feeders did, Peak is looking to take a much more direct approach, and they're actually kind of splitting up a little, and I don't think that's going to work out for them.
Yeah, it doesn't quite look like it's working just yet. Tidra getting brought dangerously low, has to play a little bit carefully here, but the rest of the team slowly getting pushed off for Feeders of the point. And right now, their Orisa is trying to maintain a front line, but it's kind of crumbling, and Adam's going to take advantage of that out-of-position placement from Tidra.
Yeah, barriers just went down big time, and so Tidra also getting eliminated is a huge loss for Feeders. So Peak gets to move in now. Feeders, however, drops their own big shield, and yeah, Tuna finds Kudo, so it's a Hanzo v Hanzo trade. And wow, Feeders actually looking pretty good here. Discord Orb helping out on the tank kill, as is their want. Vanilla also picking up a bun kill, but any kill that goes in on the defense is way better than a kill that goes in on the offense. Is what I'd like to say, except Feeders has already replaced Tidra in the lineup. It's Tidra. They're back, and they're looking for domes.
Yeah, and right now Tuna has that Mei Blizzard, so they can even play a little bit off the point, bait him on, get that Mei Blizzard coming out. They're going to push up with him, but Gagbag ready with the kinetic grasp to eat it up.
So yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Gagbag's timing on that is literally unbelievable. Like, D.Va's Matrix getting nerfed to 10 meters is one thing, but literally melee range for that is crazy. Dragons duel it on the field, and Tydra's the one who comes out on top. A 2K for them. Make it, well, Perfectity actually grabs Creedle, but say, who can say? But a third of the point does get capped by Peak. And remember, the goal is not to kill heroes, it's to cap the point.
Yeah, but a third, I think, is going to be okay for Feeders with benefits. They got to be happy with this, considering that a lot of teams just lose this point immediately upon first push. They've been showing themselves to be really resilient, and even more importantly, they've gotten to the ult rotation phase. Vanilla Love going to be having that trance. Vampiro with the flux. Yes, I am, as we're seeing, already using the window to take down It's No Good with the help of Tuna. Right now, they're making this work exactly like they need to.
So watching It's No Good press forward while the Mei wall was behind them and no one could support them was agonizing to watch. That's exactly the kind of defense you want to see. And Feeders, yeah, if the memory serves, once again, like Feeders on the Sigori, like this is a team that can pull it off. It's now a minute left, and this is almost unheard of. Point A, defense full hold. Did Threepwood speak too soon? Threepwood almost spoke too soon. The big ones are out. It's the Blizzard. It's no buenos.
Yeah, the Transcendent's going to be coming out. Not enough to save, though. Cruel, once again, claiming up some ticks on the kill feed. But, to their credit, Feeders definitely held first point to a very acceptable degree. They have 3 minutes on Streets phase. They're not going to be able to at least cleanly hold up, as we do see that What's Your Peak is pushing forward to try to get aggressive with those long lines of sight. And that's kind of the exact opposite of what Feeders are going to want here.
Yeah, that's pretty good, all things considered. Obviously, a very much longer, significantly longer defense than Peak was able to pull off, but the nature of the beast, that extra third, Feeders couldn't even contest the most primary choke point on the Streets phase of King's Row. They're literally just marching right through a Mei wall completely obliterated by the infinite progress of the cart. A fantastic Hulk's gonna grab a bunch, but the trans is in, and so it doesn't matter. The kills aren't gonna be happening. However, there's some dragons on the back line. Does it grab any kills? Answer says Koodle finds Vampiro. And of all the heroes to lose, I would not want to lose the Sigma. The Square of Doom is down, but does it result in any kills? Answer yes. Vanilla Love on the Zenyatta. Doom Monk finds the good stuff.
I gotta admit, I am really admiring how Bun is playing these Mei walls. As soon as that immortality field comes out within line of sight, Bun really ready to drop that wall, blocking that line of sight for the field. But Tuna also trying to claim themselves as dominant Mei here.
That Blizzard just shut this push down immediately. Watching Tuna pull that off again was really freaking impressive. Blizzard goes down, Freeze goes up on the Mei. There's no way Bun is getting out of there alive, so they're down. Then find Gagbag, who's been doing amazing work. Woof! Minute 40 left. Only really realistically one ult for Peak to play with, but it's looking very tasty for Feeders. They have a lot of stuff to work with.
Yeah, Feeders are going to be rolling with a couple of ults rolling online, make that 3 ults as Vanilla Loves is going to be coming online soon, and they need to make it happen here. Tidra taken out of the fight means the Dragons, of course, won't be available to play with early on. The Mei wall coming in to block that window.
Wow, I love it. It's so good, a single cooldown beating an ult. It's one of the reasons why they nerfed Defense Matrix, except Baptiste gets to do whatever he wants. Koodle goes down, massive source of DPS, lost for Peak. The Dragons tossed into that match way ahead of Tydra's entrance onto it, and that does zone out Peak pretty much exactly as needed. It's only a minute left, and they're looking very disoriented. They're gonna get unbeaten on this push here unless something changes, but Adam going down with a 70% ult charge, that's not exactly how you want to keep this alive.
Yeah, and the longer this fight takes, the better it looks for the defense. Wow. Feeders with benefits right now really working, and they're chasing right now. It's a risky chase, but they're going to be chasing just a little bit. There's a 5-man regroup from the defensive side right now. They don't want to engage until they have that full 6, knowing full well this is going to be their last opportunity. And Adam not going to have that transcendence, so they're just going to be using Zen as a damage amplification and literal heal bot.
There it is, the Matrix goes down, and the ults for Feeders are seemingly too crazy. Yeah, Peak, they're just literally gonna hide. They're not even gonna deal with this nonsense, but that means the ults aren't getting coaxed out. Vampiro, he drops it, he picks 3. The Blizzard is in from Tuna, it's eaten! No, oh, no! If that was gonna be how Peak wins it, that's gonna be how they do it, and they just kill everyone. Vanilla pops the trans, but it doesn't matter, everyone's already dead. Perfectity, just the latest in the list of grave markers, and Peak once again demonstrating the dominance when it matters. Another win, it's 2-0, and Feeders, it's not looking good.
Yeah, the Feeders I thought had it there for a minute, but I think Tuna's Blizzard getting eaten, just absolutely crucial. Massive play from the Sigma there. That, I think, was one of the biggest factors in winning that fight. Good lord, especially since right before that, the Baptiste on the offense had used that immortality field, meaning that it wouldn't have been able to save anybody, you know, if they got caught in that Blizzard. Really poor positioning on the Bap field, but they were able to be bailed out by their Sigma play. Amazing here, Threep.
Yeah, in terms of clutch potential, going into this match, I would have said that both teams were roughly equal because I also haven't seen Peak play. Mm. It's the year 2020, and I gotta say it once again, like, it's not looking good for Feeders. Like, this was their map. I mean, look at that point A defense. It was making it happen, and just, nope. They even had the ult advantage going into that fight, that final fight. I really want to emphasize that Feeders had every tool at their disposal, but I feel like Peak preempted them once again, and I feel like that may be kind of the theme of this particular matchup. Speaking of the preempting and the good times, make sure you get your vote for the MVP in, because we're going to interview someone at the end of this match, but you guys got to pick it for us.
Yeah, as much as I would like to have the final say in everything that I control, unfortunately, this is one thing that I need you guys to let us know your opinions on, so that we can get some special guests in here. We want to know who you guys are most interested to hear from, so definitely throw your votes in the Twitch chat below. And if you're feeling even more generous, you can always follow our social media presences. We have the Discord, we have the Twitch, we have the Twitter. Well, obviously you know about the Twitch, you're on it. Congratulations and welcome. But follow us, give us a follow, a shout, whatever you like. We love seeing you guys. I speak for both myself and Threep. We love seeing the community grow.
Oh yeah, no lie. Like that Discord, fill it up, man. Make Discord give us more Amazon VMs to like make it happen. Like, we want the tweets, we want the good times. We're always letting you guys know when the sick, awesome matches are happening. So that being said, it's a win-win situation. So let's get back to it. Peak. They're banning Gibraltar. I am surprised, actually. Now that I think about it.
I don't know if I'm too surprised here. I think teams are getting very comfortable with Sig Ori.
I love Gibraltar.
I mean, maybe we've seen Fears with Benefits kind of lean away from playing Sig Ori. We've seen them play Perfectity on that Reinhardt a little bit more liberally.
That's fair.
So maybe they're not as comfortable with this tank duo. They may want to start switching to something else. So maybe for some reason, what your Peak's trying to preemptively ban, maybe Feeders have like a Winston specialist in Perfectity or whoever. Either way, I think that's a long shot. We're going to be going to Rialto, so end of the day, doesn't matter. I am looking forward to it, though. I'm curious to see how these teams play. I'm anticipating, especially on first point, we're going to be seeing a lot of Barissa.
I'm sure a VOD exists somewhere, but like I swear I've never casted Rialto. I'd actually be really comfortable saying that I've never casted this map before. Like, let's recap real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. Yeah, I literally can't think of a time that I've casted Rialto. So to be fair, that also could be because the tournament that I most dominantly cast, the Overwatch All Stars Brawl, like and subscribe, #do it. It like Rialto I don't think actually has shown up in a long time. Also, like, who would pick it? Like, who would pick it? The answer's Feeders. So like, now to be fair, Feeders with Benefits, this is their tournament life on the line, and like this is for money. Like this is for cash money.
Yeah, there are prizes here.
So that being said, I can only assume that the good times are about to roll. No pun intended for Feeders, because this is a straight up escort map, and it's one where pirate ship actually doesn't really work all that good because the defending team gets to set up with a freaking turkey shoot, shooting range. What do you call it? Whatever you want to call it, like clay pigeon time. You get like the Deadeye right on them, and so I'm curious how they're gonna play this. Also, I'm super curious how any team's gonna play this. I literally haven't seen this map played in months.
I'm optimistic here, Threep. I know that it might be hard to see something or to anticipate something like the Bastion. I think that's perfectly reasonable. You wouldn't see the Bastion in an area where there's a lot of surrounding buildings and high grounds. I think, though, in about 10 seconds, we might see something a little bit different. I don't want to speak too confidently because I've definitely been wrong on these kinds of calls before.
We've got a sub, my dude. We've got but it's Bosox fan, which I'm pretty sure in my Meat Sports knowledge that's Boston Red Sox, which is fair. So props to them. I love it. Bosox, welcome to the sub. It's a good time. You get access to some pretty sick emotes. And they're pretty spicy because Widowmaker is awful. Anyway, speaking of Widowmaker, Tydra is actually opening up on Widowmaker. That's definitely not going to be the case. Defense, though, let's talk more about that. This is literally the comp that we've been seeing Peak run the actual entire time they've been playing this game. And they're setting up very juicily, and it's no good juniors even clearing barriers. Yeah, they're looking for that danger halt, the halt that makes you quit the game. Tuna on Sombra. Is it just a scout? It's just a scout.
Yeah, I think it's just a scout. We're actually, I was hoping we'd see Perfectity on that Hammond a little bit just because I like seeing, something not Sig Ori, but we are going to be seeing Tydra on that Pharah, a little bit of that air dominance. In these narrow alleyways can be difficult to find the angles, but it also makes it hard for the enemies to navigate away from your rockets.
Yeah, so the spicy halt from it's no good also doesn't happen. So yeah, now it's pretty much Tydra's shooting gallery, actually, because they've pushed Peak off of that main line, and now it's up to Afara to make it happen. And it is going to be the main damage. And Tydra's build it very quickly. The Immortality Field goes down. That doesn't stop ult charge from being generated, though. And wow, that was fast, Basilisk. Holy moly.
Yeah, Tydra going to be taken down very low, prompting the use of the Immortality Field. Although it looks like the team's going to be back, the offensive team's going to be backing off with that field, or that window open up, allowing for that massive damage. Yes, Hayam now has it online. Curious to see how they're going to be trying to use it.
Yeah, here we go. Yes, Hayam throws it in. The barrage is literally almost ready. Just a couple more rockets and it'll be happening. There's no other ults for the defense to go in. Adam goes down. It's used with the dragons. Tuna makes it happen. Bun falls. And this is Rialto, people. This is the new times ahead. And that's actually really impressive from Tydra. They don't toss the barrage in there. The Mercy gets the res anyways, and I don't think there might be a chance for Peak to come in here, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, Pika looked a little bit frazzled there. We saw the dragons come out from Tuna, and despite seeing exactly where those dragons came out, I believe it was Basilisk or Gagbag, who looked a little bit stunned when the Hanzo came exactly out of that building, and already the kills continuing to flow for feeders.
So I think this is one of the indicators that might suggest hit scan should come back, maybe at least a little bit, especially when this Hanzo nerf goes in. Koodle has ult and he's ready to go, and it's clearly like it's going to be awesome because like Koodle's been doing such a fantastic job. This Pharah has been almost uncontested. They've died once, been rezzed immediately, and Feeders is coming up with more ults than I can count because I'm an Overwatch caster. And like this is crazy. They've literally just been holding on to the barrage because there's no reason for them to use it. There's literally no contest. Adam and like the Discord orb doing their best, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, not a lot of hit scan to really deal with. We have the May Blizzard coming online, but already we're seeing ults just kind of pop out from both sides.
Wow, I'm actually surprised at Feeders contributing ults to this particular fight, especially when Koodle drops a blanking 4K off the dragons. Now, to be fair, that was insanely awesome. But Hydra also picking up a little bit of that, not stagger kill, more like an early opener, is also kind of funny.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have to see if they can capitalize upon that. It looks like because of that opening kill, What's Your Peak playing a little bit more hesitantly. And right now, Koodle is the only thing that can really put the massive damage onto Tydra, make them drop from the sky, at least on a consistent basis. And we're going to be seeing if they can manage to make it happen this time around.
I love that the dragons with the halt has become the standard, and whoa, there it is, Peak's back in the game, Gagbag and Koodle. Once again, it's like the duo of doom, just dropping it in, making it real with Bud, picking up the kill under Perfectity, and Basilisk actually being the one to knock Perfectity out of the sky. And this is now looking to be a little bit interesting. It's a couple of fights now that Feeders haven't been able to push past this choke. And when it comes to Rialto, this isn't necessarily where I thought the hold was going to happen.
Yeah, this is a pretty peculiar point on Rialto to hold at. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you don't see it very often, I don't think.
Yeah.
We don't see Rialto in general very often much, but right now it just looks like Tuna not quite able to win these 1v1s with Koodle, which puts Tydra at a lot of unnecessary risk. I think if they're able to get Tuna to shape it up a little bit, take advantage of those Hanzo placements, they can really have some good openings for Tydra to take advantage.
When is Tydra gonna pop the barrage? I feel like they've been holding on to it for quite some time. No, here it is! It's the backline! They come in, they grab Koodle, they get eliminated immediately. But like, hey, they did their duty, right? Koodle and Basilisk are down. Not the fault of, Tydra, at least in the case of Murder or healers. Yes, Haim, however, gets traded out by Adam, and Vanilla Love also follows. Man, Adam, holy moly, slow down, save some kills for the rest of us.
Oh, good lord, Adam is investing his entire kit and just getting some kills. The Sig Grab gonna come out, dropping Adam. Before Adam takes down Vampiro, what is going on, Adam?
I
this
love
is the bloodthirstiest Zenyatta I have seen in a long time.
Okay, so Tuna making it known. They're not just a fish that's being overfished. They are making it happen. Doing some damage as well. So I was going to say that looked like a really solid hold from Peak, and ultimately I think that is a correct statement. But good lord, at what cost? So we got Bun and Gagbag coming back online. And from the side of Fwub Feeders, this isn't looking real spicy for them, actually. And Tydra sticking on the Pharah. I'm actually impressed. I don't think it's the right option, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think Tydra is trying to use, perhaps trying to leverage some Concussion Blast to knock Gagbag and company off of the high ground. It's going to be very hard, though, as there is a lot of overhead that can be used to avoid that. And Vampiro, a nice eat from the Blizzard on the Bun.
That is amazing. I'm loving these players that are starting to adapt to Sigma's eat ability, the cooldown of murder. And yeah, so that's actually looking really good now for Feeders. They might have a chance to come in here. The Basilisk IF goes down. The Sigma ult from Gagbag comes out, though, and it's open season, but nothing happens. Meanwhile, Yeshiam loses their own IF, but it probably did some damage. Koodle, no 3K, 4K this time, and we're coming into 30 seconds. We're coming into the end here. The big Ant Matrix goes down from Basilisk. No kills from either side yet. Yeshiam finally drops their own ult, and I'm just wondering who's going to make it happen. It looks like it's Perfected.
Yeah, and right now it's just Koodle trying to focus on that Pharah, trying to lock down those lines of sight, but Hydra playing around the geometry very well of their own is crucial in that instance of a Pharah, and so many people low on the side of Pete.
Yeah, so there it is. Tydra, the only one going down from feeders. It's looking pretty good. And the dragons, big dragons. Tydra gets res pretty quickly. Perfectity gets a little bit of that spice. Another barrage comes in. It actually grabs Bun, who must have been bereft of cooldowns or just got popped out. Who knows? But Tydra makes the worth of the Pharah on Rialto known. And feeders in overtime pushes it in. And so with a minute and a half, which as far as I know is not a legal amount capable of finishing this map, this is going to be an overtime push for sure.
Yeah, and interesting, Koodle's now off the Hanzo. He is on that McCree. Perhaps Tydra proving that, you know, persistence will get you everything if you have enough time, that is. But, I mean, we saw Tydra getting some value, and it looks like Koodle's even recognizing that a little bit. That, or maybe they're just not feeling the Hanzo is as effective here. And the concussion blast to try to knock people around, still trying to find some value.
I'm just shocked it took that long. Also, let's point at It's No Good Jr. real quick. Putting in some finishing damage, taking advantage maximum of those amp fields. It's a huge team kill. It's 45 seconds. This is going to be the final push from feeders. Koodle, yeah, the fact of the matter is when you're shooting at a Pharah, the Pharah's instant reaction almost all the time, especially when their Mercy is a little separated, is to drop from the sky. And that means no rockets from on high. And that's just fantastic. Like, Koodle didn't get any like major kills in that round, but man, did they ever help.
Yeah, sometimes all you need to do to handle a nail is just apply a lot of pressure, and that's exactly what we saw happening from Koodle. And right now the kill's already going in favor. Hydra switching up to apply the pressure of their own. Going to be finding some good value with it.
And so there it is. Unbelievable. The Junkrat shoot at enemy to destroy enemy gameplay style has persisted, and so the kills are going to be replenished pretty quickly from the defensive side, though. Barrier's getting pretty low. The Dragons is going to get shot right into the field. Ad's going to call out the IFF, and I don't think it was necessarily mandated. That's a huge cooldown to lose, but the kills, there it is, the high noon, they pull them, it's a Sigma 9! Ignore the 3K on the cart, because it doesn't matter, because the round ends before feeders can finish it, but they do push it significantly far.
Yeah, feeders looking a little bit better here than they were on King's Row. They made it quite a distance, and right now it's really up to Peak to try to optimize to match that time. I think that they have the option here. I honestly think the Rialto is something that feeders came into with kind of a specialist idea of what they wanted to run. They ran it, and it got them some good distance. I don't think most people would idolize running Pharah that far into Rialto. It seems like Tydra had a little bit of a tough time, and Tuna. I think the both of them were kind of struggling a little bit. But once they were able to put the lid onto Koodle, they were able to continue moving the cart until they were forced to switch by, you know, McCree swap.
Yeah, that seems to be. So I guess it's difficult to say. There's definitely a lot of angles that a McCree can hide around on the point B of the streets of the map, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Koodle, that swap MVP of that particular defense. Now, that being said, that's only gonna be an MVP if Peak can actually take this map. So Koodle setting up on the Sombra Scout, Gag Bag taunting me with that Zarya pick. Meanwhile, we're looking at the defense, which is locked in. Tydra's still in the Pharah, which on this particular phase of the map I think is a solid option. Also the Mercy, great to have that res. Tuna sticking on the Hanzo, we've been loving seeing that, and otherwise it's the usual suspects.
Yeah, not a lot of shake up here. I think these teams don't play with flexibility, they play with what they know. Koodle going to be able to scout a little bit more effectively than we saw the first time around. They're going to be immediately translocating back and instead bringing out the Widowmaker. This is something that Tydra might want to be very cautious of, meaning that that Widow can just pluck the Pharah out of the sky. We're already seeing a couple body shots land. Yeah,
I'm surprised they are repositioning. That seemed like a pretty solid option for them to go with.
No,
Tydra! No, there it is! The spicy CC on the Rialto. That's the kind of stuff that just makes you feel so sad. So, seeing the carts not progress further than here is something that I have seen before. What the hell, Tydra? Calm it down. I'm trying to cast you.
Tydra has Koodle's number there. As soon as they see that Widow back up, they know that she's going to be going for the rotation. Immediately hits her with the Conch Blast and just gets a massive value. 2 for 2 so far from Tydra. This is really what they were looking for.
Yeah, man, Koodle needs to get on that. They have elected the role of the hit scan, and so they need to make some magic happen. Now, meanwhile, now they're still say the cart is rounded the corner, so this changes up the defense a little. Tydra has a little bit on the open side, big headshot, and perfected. He goes down. The tank line of feeders is completely gone, except Vanilla Love was there to make the magic happen. And then literally it's magic, like science, whatever. It's not possible to do that in real life. Meanwhile, Koodle pulling up at least a single kill, if not, again, noting crazy headshot onto the biggest head hitbox in the game onto Perfectity. And so, yeah, it looks like another cart rolling towards point A, but I think Feeder's going to have a shot at actually defending this.
Yeah, they certainly are looking to be in a decent spot to contest. It's going to be kind of a hazy one, though, since it doesn't look like everybody will be able to get there. They're going to be pushing into this window. It looks like it's not going to pan out for him. Koodle taking down Vampiro. A couple people jumping into the drink. Just a hard reset coming in now.
Yeah, it's hard to, I guess, sprint back that quickly. Maybe I'm still thinking in that Lucio mindset where you have that speed boost to get back to the point. Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone just meandering, like doing their duty. Koodle's still sticking on the Widowmaker. I think as long as Tydra and Vanilla hang on to the Pharmacy combo, I think Koodle's going to be sticking with it. But they get halted. They get out without even a scratch, which is fascinating. And the Infrasight is in, so it's a no bueno situation for the Tydra combo.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing Yesiam use that window just to perhaps to try to apply a lot more healing to their tanks. Doesn't look as necessary as we're seeing the offense back up a bit here, but the Dragon's coming out with another halt as is standard at this point.
Tuna even finds Gag Bag, which is kind of crazy. Another head click from Koodle. It's not going to result in a kill thanks to Arisa's super damage, super health at this point. Tuna also grabs Bun, which is just spicy. I love it. It's the Hanzo v Hanzo that's been happening the whole time. We're probably not going to see a lot of it once the big nerf goes through, or maybe we will, who knows. But Koodle is extremely out of position. They're not going to get punished because there's no one to punish them. Bun! Revenge! Vanilla's definitely going to res that one. Definitely going to res it. They do get away with it too. Thanks to the immortality of the res, they're also going to live. And the immortality amplification matrix that is down. And the defense still holding strong though. Oh no, the barrage! It results in death, as is Farah's want.
Yeah, I was going to say that running a double sniper around this crook of Rialto going to be pretty hard. Doesn't seem like there's too much of a tough time for the offense, though. And Koodle able to still find these angles, able to find these shots, and still getting some value.
New favorite thing ever is getting ulted by Sigma apparently results in better sightlines for Widowmaker to take shots. Meanwhile, however, the reses are real and the kills are coming in. Feeders is having the defense of their lives right now. It's No Good Jr. even commits the bongos to a definitively lost fight. Basilisk and Bun gonna be the only ones with ults for the offense. Meanwhile, Tuna sitting on the glorious dragons themselves, and Koodle, yes, off the Widowmaker, back onto the McCree. This is looking to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, I like the McCree swap a little bit better just because you don't have to play those rough turns like I was talking about a little bit earlier. You don't have as long a sight line, but if you're able to hit your shots, you're still going to be putting a whale of damage into Tydra's Farah.
Yeah, Tuna going down. Tuna not going down. Tuna burning the cooldown that quickly for the res is good. Tydra, however, pops it happen and the dragons come in. And that's why you make sure you res your Hanzo, because they had the ult and they're ready to rock and roll. Meanwhile, Tuna almost looking low, but they're going to get out of there alive thanks to the Orisa shield. And Peak is getting pretty spicy here. They're round in the corner. The Amp Matrix is down. The damage is real and the heals are coming in hot. Tuna goes down for real this time. The Mercy res not able to come up. And Tydra on the ground, not able to do as much effortless damage. They also get eliminated by literally their own rockets. Mercy stalls the payload. The point is taken, and Peak is looking very tasty now.
Yeah, on that last defense, especially when it came to getting towards second point, Fears folded on that hold like a bad poker hand. It did not look great for them. I think that maybe they would have been able to buy a little bit more time if they prevented it from getting to the point. Either way, it seems likely they would have lost the fight, and it's getting very dangerous and very close to one fight territory. Tuna going down early is not what they want here, Reach.
That's not good, especially right off the swap. The Dragons is going to go right into the middle. That's going to go right into an IFF, though not IFF, IF. And the damage is coming in for realsies. The barriers, they're just about broken for either side. It's going to come into face tanking. And Tuna is back because defensive kills barely matter. And that's going to spawn Adam's Transcendence. The halt goes in. No kills go in. The big Sigma ult goes out. Koodle actually goes very early into the fight. And it's not looking good for Peak. who might be committing ults to a failed push at this point if they don't start racking up some kills.
Yeah, it looks like Kudo felt a little too secure in popping that high noon, and because of that, Vanilla able to take them down. That Lucio switching off the Mercy, but getting even more so aggressive. Tuna applying a lot of pressure here, and this is kind of exactly where a Reaper excels. When you have to have a team that has to push so hard into you to get this last few, meters, that's exactly what Reaper likes to play. He likes to play in those close quarters engagements, and there's a lot of hallways at this final choke.
Yeah, I'm actually super happy that Tuna murdered Adam with such impunity. Like, that's literally the kill that you should be able to pull off. Like, Reaper has all the movement abilities. Adam on the Zenyatta has nothing. And so it comes in again. The Amp Matrix is back. And it Maywall not really closing it off enough of it, except Poodle, with the aid of the Hulk, gets Trebuchet out of existence, and Vampiro follows up with a big Sigma ult. That's going to ruin this push for Peak. They have a minute left. They did commit the Amp Matrix, but they've got a bongos of their own to go up into a blizzard, but also a barriers. That is not good. Feeders, this might be the start of a new beginning for this particular matchup.
You certainly have to hope so if you're on the side of Feeders. They opted for a lot of ults there. Tuna, halfway to Dragons. We see that those Dragons can build rather quickly. This is going to be last fight territory, as you mentioned. Lots of ults online for the defense, but we've seen Feeders kind of throw away ults before on their last fight here, Threep. I don't want another King's Row situation.
Yeah, and Koodle is also back on the Hanzo, just making it happen. The Blizzard was in. That's actually going to cause a bit of a problem as Gagbag goes down immediately thanks to the sheer focus of it. The Bongos isn't going to result in any kills because of the sheer amount of the barriers and the Maywall going in at exactly the right time on the stagger. The IF is down for the defense, so Feeders ain't going to be losing anyone anytime soon. That has expended, perfected these Bongos. Also, not really going to result in anything, but the ult advantage from Feeders is just so freaking strong at this point. I will be shocked if anything comes out of it other than death to Peak. The Dragon splits them up. Basilisk loses the IF down, and it's just a struggle for life at this point.
Gagbag on a Reinhardt. They're looking to swing in here. They're going to see if they can make it happen. The Sound Barrier coming out that Maywall, blocking off a lot of damage. Poodle taking down Tuna might be the turnaround that they needed, and already it's looking to go belly up for the defense right now, but they just have to hold out a little bit longer for those reinforcements coming, but they can't!
They're not on the point. You hate to see it, you love to have it happen in a game if you're the winners, and with the power of Reinhardt, and no May to help. Feeders gets taken completely off the point. They had members alive, but it doesn't matter if you're not touching the cart. Koodle takes play of the game, and Peak takes the match, and what a match they took.
Yeah, that was a wild match. Peak playing against some, despite how the scoreboard looks, despite how certain submaps looked on Lijiang Tower, this was a pretty close game. I would say that Feeders had some very good defenses in given spots. And before I continue with all this, folks, don't forget to vote for the MVP. We are going to be wrapping up voting here in just a minute, so let us know who you think is popping off in the chat so we can get them in here and have a few words from them. But yeah, no, I think Feeders had a great defense. I wanted to see more of them. I am chagrined to say, I don't think I used that word right. I am remiss to say that we're not going to be seeing them anymore, as this was the losers bracket. But man, Threep, what a show! What a show!
Yeah, Feeders fans could be forgiven for thinking that that was going to be the big moment of the turnaround, like the actual time when you're looking at 3 sparkly check marks on the field. You've got this. You're going to make it happen. Gagbag comes swinging out with the Reinhardt, however. The Discord orb from Adam lands exactly where it needs to. All of a sudden, the May goes down. Ugh. That's just an unfortunate situation for the Feeders. Now, Peak is going to go on. Very happy to have that happen. It's a shame that we're losing Feeders with benefits so quickly into the tournament, but that being said, so be it. They got 3-0'd. I want to say that most of the matches were close, but the fact of the matter is, until Rialto, it was difficult to see the clutch plays coming out from Feeders. Fortunately, though, we're looking at silver linings here. You come away with the benefits, so to speak. You're coming away with your silver linings. This was a solid tournament to throw your hat into, and you went up against 2 really solid teams. You went up with a Reborn Citizens, and you went up against What's Your Peak. And I want to argue that both those teams probably generated a lot of good, solid, coachable content. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a solid option. Now, Peak, man, holy moly. Koodle needs to be on hit scan more.
I agree. I do severely think that Koodle was kind of, I don't want to say confined to Hanzo because they might end up liking Hanzo and it was good for them, but I feel like Koodle was playing like a hit scan player should in that instance and just getting those kills. I think Tydra and Tuna were kind of allowing that capitalization to come through, but either way, I'm very satisfied with DPS play coming out from What's Your Peak. Overall, it looked like they were just operating supremely well. I feel like this is something I never personally shout out. The supports, though, from What's Your Peak, Adam.
Yeah.
There were so many times where Adam just went bloodthirsty on that Zenyatta. We saw it on King's Row, I believe. We saw it on Rialto. And I'm liking it. I'm liking the Zenyatta play that we're seeing lately.
Yeah, it's a shame that we might not see it for much longer. The 1.44 patch is on PTR right now, and it's definitely going to be boosting no one, if I remember correctly. It's almost entirely nerfs. Yeah, no, it's
and
kind
Diva,
of weird.
Diva.
Oh no, that's right.
Diva
Diva gets one of the most massive buffs in the history of the world. So Dive. No, so that's actually true. Yeah, Dive might be back in. So I'm just saying.
Maybe
like,
Zen.
Maybe Zen comes back. Maybe the Dive of the Discord. Like it's all kid and caboodle. Yeah, that's the other thing. Speaking of those supports, Baptiste is about to get one of the craziest nerfs on the planet. The cooldown of the IF is going to shoot up, and the duration of it is going to get crushed. So Play Overwatch actually had a pretty solid take on it. It's going to not render Baptiste useless, but it's going to change the way that the ability gets used. And with the Discord maybe possibly still being a thing, I'm just curious how teams are going to play with it. Like, this could be actually really spicy. Like, the age of the Zenyatta might be back in. If Dive is coming back in, then you might be thinking, okay, now you got to protect your Zenyatta. And I don't know. Are we back to Moth? No, we can't be.
It's going to be a lot of theory crafting. I think moving forward, there's a lot of moving parts, and I'm excited to see, it's not going to happen for a while, but I'm excited to see, as we move into, the back end of January and eventually February, how these teams, our next couple of those tournament matches develop, because I do anticipate that there's going to be some change. I think that it may not be Sig Ori forever, and that's a relief to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I've made my distaste for Sigori known. I've gone on record multiple times saying how much I despise this tank lineup. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to go away with the next patch unless Dive actually really does take it away because of the sheer barrier bustability of Winston.
Yeah.
And if invulnerability field goes down a little bit, I think Winston's viability might go up a little, and that just means it's time for Diva.
We're gonna have to see. Like I said, I'm really excited to see what's gonna be happening. But speaking of what's happening, in one of my weakest segues ever, we're gonna be having Gagbag hop into the chat with us. Gagbag, how are you feeling?
I feel sick.
Well, it sounds like your name is very fitting of your status. Then, now,
We'll make this quick then. Gagbag, you're coming off of a bit of a 3-0, and it was looking pretty spicy there at the end. As far as tank play goes, and yourself through the careers of the Overwatches, overall, what are your feelings really on Sigma?
I mean, it's like my second time playing him, so it's kind of dumb. Like, he should not be here anymore.
Yes! Gagbag, new best friend. Oh, Waltham, you heard it from him first. Oh, I love it.
Yes, very good. Like, we were kind of talking about how Sigma's going to be changing, or not Sigma's going to be changing, but just how things are going to be changing in the future. Is there anything you're seeing that kind of excites you in these new patch notes that are going to be going on to that have gone on to PTR in the last week or so?
I mean, as long as it's out of meta, I can play the game again. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
Why am I sweating, bro?
Well,
I mean, to be fair, it was some pretty good Overwatch. I'm not saying it was an endurance match, but can't really say that.
Biceps are giant right now.
I believe in the field we call that pumped. But Gagbag, we were talking about how I mean, both teams kind of had their moments here, but you guys obviously came out dominant all 3 maps and made it a really quick showing. What were there any moments or what moments made you guys most nervous coming out from feeders?
Probably like the last fight, because we had nothing, and we fucked up a lot of shit.
So then the follow-up question would be, why do you think you guys were able to win that despite those shortcomings? Like, do you think that it was just positioning, or you guys kept better cooldown track? What was you guys' secret to success there?
We had really good target calling.
Okay.
That was big.
That track's pretty hard. Honestly, the capitalization on Adam's discords was pretty solid, rockin' stuff. And I do just want to double down as a former Diva main who doesn't actually even play competitively anymore. I too am looking very much so forward for this PTR patch to come in. I don't want to keep you too long. It's been a bit of a thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty antisocial.
Well, then we definitely don't wanna make you uncomfortable here, Gagbag. But thank you for coming into the casters booth, hanging out with us for just a little bit and answering some of our questions for the fans.
Sweet. Can I go?
All right.
We got you, fam. Take it easy, man.
And with that being said, Threep, I believe we are about ready to do our wrap up here, are we not?
We have settled into what I would refer to as the end game. This is it. We say goodbye to feeders. We welcome Peak into the rest of the losers bracket, but for now, this has been 3.007. You can grab me on Twitch or Twitter at 3.007.
And likewise, I have been Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitch or Twitter at Sir Waltham. From those of us here at Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you in just about 45 minutes for our next game between 6 Guns and No Use for a Name. Hope to see you there. But until then, folks, have a good night and stay safe, everybody.